We are live.
We are back. We are rolling.
How you feeling?
Very, very good. Very, very good. Back number 2.
Number 2 already. It's only been a few days since we dropped it yesterday, didn't we?
We dropped it yesterday, yeah. So we're more excited to jump into this one, I think.
You seem more happy than me today.
I'm happy
giddy than I was in the last one.
First one was a little bit. It was the first one.
Yeah.
So it was breaking the ice a little bit, just getting a feel for it. It's my first ever podcast, so I was very, very new to it. You're obviously more used to it.
But not used to the camera.
Yeah, you're hidden behind the camera usually.
It's
probably for the best, but
different element to it. It's like today it's like we're both. Yeah, it's different. It feels different.
I think the weight is off our shoulders from the first one. The first time you do anything is obviously there's a little bit of nerves. I ain't gonna lie. First time being in front of the camera, really. So yeah, but now that that's been done, the weight's off our shoulders. We've got the first one out there. We had really good feedback, so that's I think helped us even more, and we're just even more excited to really get involved now.
I mean, I can't lie, I didn't sleep last night. I was just on YouTube and maybe a few hours, like YouTube analytics. I was just watching it the whole night, just refreshing. Because I don't know about you, I'll be completely honest, I didn't expect the feedback we've got.
Yeah, well, I didn't really know what to expect because I've never done a podcast. So I didn't have any sort of expectations.
Yeah.
I just wanted to see what was going to happen. But yeah, I was pleasantly surprised when obviously I saw all the sort of the love that we got in a way, the comments, loads of DMs. I got loads of DMs on Instagram. And everyone just really loved it. So as I said, now the first one's been done and we kind of got that, we passed that milestone. We both said to each other, we can't wait to get back in here and really get going sort of thing.
Like I was giddy in the last one, I kept smiling, but today I'm like genuinely twitching. I'm just a bit like back and forth.
Yeah,
I can't really control
you're fully
myself.
gassed today.
Like,
Someone's excited.
Tingles, jiggles, all sorts. It's good.
Tingles,
a little touch of the old Chateauneuf, the pup.
Yeah, so it was down
That's
to
how
you.
you say it.
It was down to you to get it today.
Yeah.
Or to pick up a bottle of choice. And that was your bottle of choice. I see that you just went with copied me basically.
Yeah, pretty much. Couldn't be fucked. So I just thought, let's just copy him. I did say in the last one you delivered.
It's a decent bottle of wine though,
I did tell you to elaborate in the first podcast, but you just completely blanked me and just kept it moving. So I thought we'd give it a little shout out today because
this is a glass that we've had a few times, or not a glass, a bottle that we've had a few times, especially in planning the podcast. So yeah, Chateauneuf the pup. I'm sure a few people know about that. But so you're giddy, you're gassed.
Gassed. Just happy.
What do you want to talk about today?
What should we start off with? Well, in the last one, we covered COVID.
We went deep into COVID.
We went deep. We could go deeper, and I think we can do that in the future as well. But I think it's definitely nothing wrong with just going a little bit into it today, just to carry off where we left off.
I think it's one of those ones where on all our future podcasts that we're not really going to be able to get away from it because it's just in our face day in, day out. And obviously you can't get away from it. It's just everywhere you go, it's COVID. So I know that you, well, particularly when we were away, there was a certain things to do with the COVID aspect that we were like, I can't fucking wait to get back to a podcast and start talking about this. Yeah. So I think we've got to jump on that. There's loads of things we both want to say. But at the same time, COVID's a fucking pain in the ass. So I don't want to talk about it too much.
Because then we're not getting angry as well. Like
it pisses you off.
It does. It gets annoying. I mean, I'll go on the news app in a bit and even just show you, like on the way here, just going through the news app and the amount of shit. There's nothing else besides COVID in the news right now. So what are you expecting everyone else to look at? It's just COVID. So people are going to get angry. Yeah.
But I don't want to taint us with it too much because it's a negative thing, really, isn't it?
It is.
But we've got loads to talk about. But the last podcast we done was like, it took us about a week, not take us, but it was a week until we put it out because we went on holiday.
We did go on holiday.
We can talk about that. But when we came back from holiday and when we were about to upload it, I said that I think it was actually even better timing.
Yeah.
Because some of the things we spoke about last time were quite fresh. Like it was literally the day when in the UK it was being reduced down to 6 people was being announced. And there was another few things that I want to talk about is where we're talking. Have you seen The Social Dilemma on Netflix?
I watched about 20-30 minutes of it the other day, funnily enough.
Yeah, but just before we go into that, you said we spoke about something or quite a few topics in the first podcast that I watched about 15-20 minutes. I haven't had enough time, but it's basically proven everything that we said and with actual facts. So yeah, I'd like to come back to that in a little bit.
Definitely. Well, I mean, when we did upload a clip on YouTube last night, and a few people, even on Instagram as well, and a few people mentioned saying that's exactly what was said in Social Dilemma.
But we had said it before.
And I was like, funnily enough,
but that's what I said before we uploaded. It was like, it was perfect timing because that Netflix series came out, and then it was like, okay, so what we've said has been validated even by like and proven with facts. So the time that it dropped, even though it was like about a week after we recorded, was perfect. So, but this one is going to be put out basically straight away.
Yeah.
As I said, it's been about a week. So, what have you been doing? What have you been up to?
Again, just chilling really. Like to be honest with you, just been chilling. Like
chilling since drinking wine.
Chilling, drinking wine, and just trading. But even then, not even trading too much. Like since we came back from holiday. I think that is the reason as well. That holiday was so good and so fun. That's probably the reason why I'm so like just refreshed right now. I feel good.
Yeah.
I'm just like in the zone.
Yeah, that's a bit we can maybe start off with. We went away. We went away for, what was it, 4 days?
4 days
to Mykonos. Nice little holiday. Perfect, really, wasn't it? I couldn't recommend a place.
Yeah.
I'd definitely recommend a place to anyone who wants to go. But then we've done a bit of trading out there. And we've traded since we came back. But just as you were saying, do you think that because of that break that you have, like what we keep saying is you don't need to trade every day, that having that little break in Mykonos, because you've been on fire today's Monday, you've been on fire on Friday and today. Do you think that contributes?
100%. Like, to be honest with you, it was more you doing the trading on holiday. Like I was like more monitoring and just observing, but the trades I placed before holiday, just to monitor on holiday, that was what I was kind of doing instead of looking over
my shoulder.
Just looking over your shoulder. I'm trying to get the intraday strategy. Everyone's talking about it. Everyone messages me now and they're like, get the strategy off Bernie. And I'm like, I'm getting closer, guys. Just don't worry. A few more wines, we're going to get it. But I think the key to trading for me overall, less is more.
That's 100%. I think, I was trading full on a lot of last year and stuff, but then I've definitely realized that less is more. Like last week I only traded 1 day, which was Friday, and there was more like with the community and stuff, and there was over 10%. I took 5% myself, but I met you on Friday at like 1 o'clock and I was like, day's done, I'm finished, 5% for the day. I don't really care about anything else. But then when I done a review yesterday and just saw how the market ended, I was like, there was this trade, and it could have been over 10%. But you done, what's your trade done today?
Today it's done about 8%, but I think just before we recorded, it's actually pushed down a little bit more. So it should be about 9-10% now. But that is literally, in a nutshell, my week done. Yeah. And I tweeted that even when it was 8%, I said, I've closed off 80%, I'm done.
Yeah.
Why? Like most people...
8%.
8% today so far, but then when you compare the other two trades from September as well, I'm up 30% this month alone. I don't know what the date is today. Is it
today is
20th or 11th? I don't know what it is.
21st.
21st. Yeah. Time's flying, man. Yeah. Where is this year going? But
that's why we went on holiday, because we were both sort of doing very, very well for the month of September. So we said, fuck it, let's just go on a quick holiday.
Yeah. So,
but holiday was sick.
Holiday was
we had a
very
good time.
Good. It was the perfect balance of everything. We went from getting absolutely fucked on the first night.
That always happens though. Any time we go on holidays, you're always hyped or a bit gassed on the first. Nearly every holiday I've gone on, you're always excited, so you always drink a little bit too much the first day.
I think the problem is we're a bad influence on each other as well.
100%.
I'm not gullible. I'm easily led. So if there is a wine in front of me, I'm going to drink it.
I was like, another one.
You were like,
okay.
The girls are obviously like, can you like chill out? We've got to pace ourselves. And you'd be like, just one more bottle will be all right though, innit? And I'd be like, absolutely.
We're on holiday. Yeah. Come on, we have to relax.
But they're like our mothers in a sense. They like to keep us controlled.
Look after us.
Yeah, they look after us, but we don't like to be looked at. We like to drink.
The more they try to look after you, the more opposite we go.
It gets worse, but we even jumped on it. Like we got drunk, went on IG Live.
On the
first night, promised everyone we'd do it. I think you was in a dressing gown, if I remember. But if not, you're in a dressing gown for most of the trip.
They loved it though.
But
all of us. But we love interacting with people. That's sort of with the podcast as well, as to people to see more about us. But we've done a few lives, so we can really interact with everybody and get to know people and conversate with them.
Yeah, it's interesting just seeing like what people want to like talk about, what they want you to talk about, and just what people want in general. I just like interacting with people. It's interesting to see like different opinions. It's like what we said in the first podcast. You want to hear everyone's opinions. You want to accept what everyone's saying, what they want. It's just nice to get to know people.
Yeah, everyone was shouting out sort of ideas for podcasts and stuff as well. But yeah, Friday we had a good night. But Mykonos in the whole was more, if you could sort of put it in a nutshell, was good food.
Very good food.
Good drink.
Good drink. A lot of
and
drink.
Just chilled. So chilled. That's my second time there. And I think apart from places where you go more than once, like Ibiza or somewhere like that, because it's sort of a partying holiday. But I've never gone back to it. I've gone someplace I'd normally go somewhere different, but that's the second time I've been there. So I've been to Mykonos twice, but I'd go back again. It was good.
I would definitely go back.
We said we'd go back.
Yeah, do you know what? I think since we've come back from there, things have only got better in terms of not just positivity and happiness, but just life overall. And I think it's taught me a very valuable lesson, because before that, I hadn't been away in maybe like 16 months, 18 months.
Yeah.
And then it's amazing like how one break can just change everything. It just resets you.
You need that break.
People underestimate how powerful a reset is. Whether that's like fasting or just taking a break from social media, a break is crucial, I think, to just doing anything in life. Sometimes you forget you're stuck in a routine for so long, or you forget that you've been working for months on end. And sometimes you need to give yourself that little treat. It's so important.
Because you burn out. You burn out no matter what you're doing. You burn out. And it's amazing. Like I've always found, even like when I've been working, trading and everything else, is that, especially like with running and other businesses years ago, is that having a day off or two, a weekend isn't enough. Do you know what I mean? But having a day off or two, you can, when you come back, I actually tweeted this while we were away, is that having a few days off, you can come back. So if you're working out flat out non-stop and you're burning out, you're not being productive. But then if you have like 3-4 days off, you can come back to your work or whatever you do and do more in that one day than you would have done in a whole week previous to going on holiday. And I've always found that. And then you come back, we said we're determined to just like obviously get the podcast started, and you kind of get that fire in your belly to like, right, I'm going to get back into it now that you've chilled out. So it's definitely something that's needed. And just going back to trading, I think that's something that people need to learn when trading, is you don't have to be at the screen every day. Like make some money. Like today, I'm up about 3%. Like people are just tweeting me at the moment.
Is that it?
Hold on, let me see. So oil just triggered. So it's 120. So that's about 3%, 4%. I have to check my chart.
That's on one trade, yeah?
That's one trade.
Fuck.
And then EJ. So I gave this to the community. But EJ is up about 1.5%. And then
1.5%.
You know, a little bit more. I have to. No, actually, it's a bit more. It's probably.
I swear that only triggered. Like
both of them triggered just before we started the start of the podcast. But
nice.
And then I got stopped out on Euro GBP by a pip. So 1-2.
So you're not very good at this trading stuff, then, are you?
Well, two's not bad. 2 out of 3. But then the risk reward ratio, I'm up about 4% for the day.
So when you put it in perspective, it's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like some people, like again, this is something we can maybe talk about in the future as well, but pips versus percentages. And you've been a very big preacher in this for a very long time, but it just goes to show how minimal risk can still lead to very big rewards.
Yeah.
Like 5%. Compare that to a month in the stock market, for example. Sometimes that's what you achieve in a year of investing into a fund.
Well, think about what your money, say even if you have $1 million liquid cash in the bank, how much does that make in a year in the bank? What percentage, what interest rate? The interest
Probably
rate
now it's like 0 point something,
So then if you're talking about 5% in a day, or let's just say I'll just round it off at say 3%. But really, I don't need to trade now. I don't need to trade tomorrow, so I can get up, have a look at the charts. If I see something that I fancy, I'll take it. If I don't, I'll wait till Wednesday. I'll wait till Thursday, and then I go out and do whatever I want on Tuesday, and not give a fuck about a trade. Not feel like I'm missing something. That's the way to trade. So less is more. Like you're saying.
That's how life should be. I think over time, again, we kind of discussed this just personally earlier as well when we had a little catch up and stuff. But like, I'm trying to explain it the best way possible. I've actually forgot what I was going to say. I literally just forgot what I was going to say. I just went blank.
No more wine for you.
I just went blank. No, give me that back. I actually just went blank. You said something to me earlier regarding trading. Now I've absolutely forgotten what you just said.
Oh, we're saying less is more.
Less is more.
Has that triggered anything?
Keep it going. Keep
any
it going.
Sparks in there? Any brain cells?
Brain cells are fucked, but just keep it going. Keep it going.
Because you're up all night looking at Google.
I was just thinking of my trade. That's why. But yeah, Google Analytics has fried my brain a bit as well. But I think less is more. You do not need to trade. Let me just go on to my topic then. Fine, we'll get back to yours in a sec when I figure this out. But I've just I've just checked mine as well.
Brother, how much did you have any wine before I met you?
Give me that back. I've just had a little sip, and but yeah, I just checked mine as well.
Are you okay?
I'm fine. I might have some more if anything. It might mellow me out a bit. I'm in a good mood.
Someone is fully gassed.
I'm happy. I'm just sorry for being happy.
I think there's going to be a few more memes made out of you now today.
I hope not. I really hope not. Did you see the memes that were made of me yesterday on Twitter? Outrageous, man. I don't even...
More memes, guys. More memes.
More memes of Bernie, I think, would be a good idea. But checking my trade.
Less is more. Mm-hmm. Where are you going with this?
Less is more. So, for example, I just checked mine. It's now hit 10%.
Yeah.
So...
That's it now. You don't need to do no more.
Don't need to do anymore. Like, why go the extra mile? Why be greedy? And again, you're risking minimal.
But the maddest thing is that we're sitting here doing a podcast while there's trades running. So it's like, is that being that relaxed that you don't need to... Many people think that even when you have a trade, you have to be sitting in front of the chart and be staring at it and monitoring it. Literally, the best thing to do is to go out and do other stuff.
Yeah.
And just set your trades and just move on.
You were one of the first people to do that, actually, especially when you started showing the property side and stuff. A lot of people, I remember, they'll be asking you, like, you're doing this whilst running a full-time business.
Yeah.
And I remember you actually made a very good point that it's better sometimes to run a business on the side because you're just distracted whilst the trades are just 100%, doing what they want on the side.
Because it happened on Friday. So on Friday, I took 2 trades and I made 2%. And then I was like, I said on Instagram, I said, day done, I'm going out, like, if I've got another couple of trades. If they trigger, they trigger. I don't really give a shit.
Yeah.
Then I went out on a property, and then I put up a video. I was up on the roof and stuff like that. And then I came down, and then another trade triggered, Aussie dollar, US dollar. And by the time I was in the car, I was up 2%. So I was like, that's good enough for me. Bang, I can take that. Another 2%. But then because I set orders, the levels, the intraday levels and stuff. So I set orders and the trades just trigger. But if you're sitting there in front of the computer, your emotions are involved. And this is what I'm very much about, trading without emotion and setting orders and trades. So your emotion isn't involved in your trading, because a lot of people can be good traders, but once their emotions get involved, then it takes over. But definitely having something to do and leaving the house and not being in front of the charts all the time will help you so much.
Yeah.
Because being in front of the charts all day, people that sit there, it can really affect your trading.
You start making irrational decisions and impulse decisions, and that's like, unless you are genuinely just scalping 24/7, you cannot be using impulse and irrational decisions when you're trading.
Yeah.
And when you're distracted, for example, it's pretty easy to just let the trade run.
Yeah.
There's been so many times where I've been sat at the charts all day long, and because I'm sat there, I'm inclined to take profit early.
Yeah.
Whereas if I'm busy, sometimes I'll come back and I'll be like, it's done.
Exactly. Yeah. And even if you win the trade, or even if you lose, sometimes your trade might lose. But then when you're watching it, your heart rate is up and stuff. Obviously, even with risk management, it's still like, nobody likes a loss, but you're going to have a loss. But if you're out and about, you come back, you look at your things, like, oh, that one lost, but this one won. So it doesn't really matter. Like, as I said today, 2 out of 3 trades have won. Do I care about a loss? I don't give a shit. Yeah. Because the other 2 have won, but we're sitting here doing a podcast and it's running in the background. Yeah. I'm not worried about what they do. I know where they're going to go. I can take a bit of profit, and we'll see where they're at after this. Yeah,
and I think that's a good thing with how we trade in particular. It's like we're reinforcing that 1 to 2% at max is all you need to still get an incredible outcome in terms of profit. Like, it's buying you an opportunity, if you really want to take more trades. So I'm up 30% this month so far. It's only the 21st. I would need to take 30 trades at 1% risk to lose my entire gains for the month.
Yeah.
So it's buying you opportunities. So if you're risking 1%, and in the worst case scenario making 2 to 3%, it still justifies the risk. And that's kind of what keeps me very relaxed now. Before, I would be a bit more frequent. I'd admit sometimes I would risk 5% or more. Yeah. Because I just kind of knew when I got a bit. You get a bit cocky sometimes and you go a bit too far. But now I've realised the less you risk and the more you aim for a reward, it works out better in the long run. And that kind of goes into the longevity argument as well. People do not focus on the long-term outlook in anything in life, really.
But yeah, and I think, again, something that we like, I think we can do a purely Forex a podcast. But just like what you're saying, is something that you spoke about was what we spoke about last time, is that people don't look for the long term because they want the here and now, and that's what we were saying last time, is very much about today's society and so much emphasis put on social media. And I think, did we talk about it or not? But when we were talking about how social media and Forex and Instagram and stuff like that, and how there's so much, it's just so fake. Like 99% of what you see regarding Forex or anything to do with that with Forex on Instagram is fake. And it's like everyone wants you to make you believe that you can get a Lamborghini overnight, or you can turn 500 into $1 million overnight. So there's so much of that it clouds people's brains and their perspective. So then you forget about the longevity, the long-term goal. And then people just get caught up, and that's why there's so many people that lose, because they can't. They're just trying to get that quick fix. They're trying to get that, I want to make money now. And there's a lot of people that message me like, oh, I want to get rich. And it's like, but do you want to learn? Or do you just want to get rich? But they want they're like, how they want the easy route.
I think we live in a society now where instant gratification is what everyone wants.
Everything's now.
Instant. But again, that ties into what you've just said. That will tie into a social dilemma discussion we can definitely get into in a second.
Let's go into that in a minute.
We'll get into that as well, definitely. Because I think instant gratification, social media has tapped into that perfectly. And that's what these marketers are using.
Because of what I've only seen 15 minutes of that on Netflix. And it's exactly what you're saying is, they've learned about the human psychology and the way that the instant gratification, like how they've now got you hooked into, like, even I saw a bit where it was, I'm going too far.
No, carry on. I was actually, you get me a bit excited.
There's a bit like where it shows that, when you're on Instagram and then like you refresh it, or say like you posted a picture or something and you refresh it, and because you want to see the updates of how many people have liked it or something, they've figured out that that's how people are in a casino. When they're at a slot machine and they put on a slot machine and they're waiting to see if they win, and it goes ching ching ching, you either win or lose, and then you do it again. It's like with the human psychology, they're doing that. So they're refreshing the page because they want, so they've got these people like who are paid obviously a lot of money working for Facebook, Snapchat, everybody else. I've only seen 15 minutes of this, and it told me so much, and I was like, fucking hell, I know I can relate to it. But they have really tapped in to the human psychology.
But this is what I touched upon in the last podcast as well. They know more about us than we do. Like I read there was one bit where it literally says it knows, and it even tracks how long you are looking at a particular picture.
That was scary. That I saw. I was like, and I haven't been able to use social media the same since. I'm like,
I see something now, and I'm like, no, skip. Like, because there's so many fucking influencers and girl influencers as well on the discovery pages and stuff. Now I see them, I swipe past them quickly, because if I'm with my girl and suddenly I get like 7 girls just pop up on my feed in one go, that means I've been looking at them 2 seconds more than the other post, and it's made me paranoid.
So just to clarify for anyone who's not too sure, is like, so basically there's this social dilemma. We'll have to watch the rest of it and then update. But social dilemma on Netflix, and it's talking in depth about social media. But as I said, it was touching on things that we said in the last podcast, and it was just like proven as a fact. And what you said, that they're all building this data from a massive data, like everything's pulling data from you. And you are the data, you are the product, which gets to the Google Nest that you spoke about last time. But they're pulling all this data from us. But I said only 15 minutes in, it showed that when you're on Instagram and you're scrolling through, literally, so basically as you go through, it kind of slows down. The clock starts on every single picture, and it's that in depth that the clock starts and then starts going right 1, 2, 3, and if you move on to the next one and you only spend 2 seconds, you move on to the next picture, you spend 5 seconds. It's calculating that. So then the next time you refresh, bang, it's showing you more of what that's
it's like what I was talking about with the surveillance state, like how I think in the next 5, 10, 20, 30 years, we're going to get in a state where already feel like we're being watched, whether that's security cameras, whether that's track and trace, all this stuff that's going on. We don't realize we're in that phase right now, but we do not realize because it's happening with algorithms. Algorithms are tracking our every move. They are monitoring us in every aspect. There's literally like a branch, like what's that graph called where it spirals out like a tree? Is it a tree graph? I don't remember it from school. I fully just made that up, but I think it's a tree graph. It's like little bubbles and there's like fucking lines.
Is it a tree graph?
Whatever. You get what I'm saying, yeah?
Yeah, go on.
It's like that. It's like you draw a bubble and then it spirals off there and then
like
it fucking
brainstorming.
It's similar to that, yeah, brainstorming. But
tree graph.
There's like, it spirals out with different branches. It tracks you. It's not just tracking what you like.
It's like a spider's web.
Exactly.
Yeah,
similar to that.
Graph or spider web.
That's what I was going to say. That's what I was getting to. Something along them lines.
I know what you mean. One thing's linked to the next, and it doesn't stop.
You're using things like your location services, all of this stuff. Your apps are tracking you.
Yeah.
Now in the new iOS 14 update, they've said it's not going to be as accurate now to protect you. But if anything, I believe that's increasing and perfecting the accuracy of location services, because now it's no longer going to be perfect. It's going to be a bit more of a rough estimate of where you are to potentially protect you. But it's the same as almost wearing masks everywhere now for facial recognition. They're making it harder because they're training the AI and the algorithms to improve. Do you understand? So it's no longer why it's too easy for them now to just simply measure your fucking face or measure your location.
Maybe. I don't know.
Like now, but they'll be able to recognize you from half your face. This is what they see now.
Just by eye.
Yeah. They're improving.
That's going back to like the...
Perfecting the model.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's like, it's like what you said in the previous podcast is about how it very much feels like being in a futuristic film.
Yeah.
And there's a film, I can't remember what one it was, but it's like wherever you go. So say like you get on a bus, like there's cameras everywhere. So they track you by eye. So like they know where you are all the time because what you're saying is a bit above and the mask. Potentially. But yeah, I don't know. It's a good theory.
Have you ever seen Person of Interest?
No.
I watched it years ago, the whole thing in its entirety. I don't remember it fully, but it was along those lines of...
What is it, a film?
It's a TV series.
Okay.
And it was... there's a game called Watch Dogs as well. It almost mirrors each other, but it just shows you how, like... To be fair with you, China is almost at that level already. China's there. And people don't realise this. We are progressing towards... We look at China and think, fuck, it's militant. It's almost like there's a regime, it's strict. Like but we are merging into that society. China lives in fear. You cannot speak out anymore. There's government censorship. Everything's banned. You speak out. There's people getting executed for speaking out now. People go missing in China for speaking out. People go missing for talking on Facebook. Feds come to your door, bust open your door. They fucking drag you out.
Where did you see this?
It's everywhere. It's like I know it sounds.
Have you seen anything in particular?
Pretty much what I've just said. Like, I know it sounds bad to say I saw some things on Facebook or Instagram, but like when I used to be on Facebook, I think everyone's aware of it.
I think everyone's aware of the situation.
But it's not a Facebook conspiracy where a Karen's posted like a meme being like, we are being controlled.
What exactly? I understand the Karen thing, but what exactly?
I love how there's just a security tag on that wine. Like I've just stole it.
That was you. That was you. You're the one that got it today. Did you rob it? Did you steal it?
Times are tough, man. Recession.
Did it bleep as you walked out the
Yeah,
store?
it actually did, to be fair.
Did it?
Yeah.
Did
it?
But
they didn't take it off. There was a cap on it as well, but...
A cork?
Yeah.
Cap?
No, like...
No cap.
Security. No cap.
What was it saying?
Karen's.
Yeah, Karen's. I understand that meme. I kind of understand it. I understand it's like... where did it come from? Was there a woman called Karen who just started speaking out at someone in a shop or something?
I think it's general knowledge that anyone that wants to talk to the manager and has their hair like quiffed over like an emo rocker on Tumblr from like 2007 is a Karen.
Okay.
Like they're stereotypes.
That's a stereotype. It's basically stereotyping, yeah.
Whenever I've been there many times. You could even be in a McDonald's and there'll be someone that doesn't get
Karen
a pickle.
Wants to talk to the manager.
And Karen will...
So it's a stereotype thing,
yeah. Her poor son didn't get his ketchup or his 4 chicken nuggets.
Yeah.
Bang. Speak to the manager and she gets
up. I thought I knew what it originated from, but I just wanted to double check.
But especially on Facebook.
You mentioned it a few times.
But especially on Facebook now, especially with the whole Corona thing, like the problem is with the Karens or the Kyles. There's like Karens and Kyles. The problem is with them, they almost like, because they don't understand or actually look into depth on what is going on around the world. They will just share like memes carelessly, or they'll share. It's like when it's quite a foreign thing. I don't know if you get it, but my dad used to send me things when he first got WhatsApp, or even had like BBM back in the day. He would send you a thing where it'd be like, the government is going to kill us all now. If we do not do this, we will die tomorrow. Please share and spread with 70 people.
Yeah.
Or it's like, share this with 70 people to save an orphan. And it's like, no, it doesn't work that way.
I remember those.
Grandparents believe it, but Karens are almost like the modern day version of that, where it's like this 30 times to save this child with cancer. And it's like,
stupid.
That's almost worse.
Yeah.
Like, what kind of reality do you live in where you think 70 likes on Facebook is going to save a child's life?
Yeah.
Donating money may do that, but not liking a picture for good luck.
Like I saw one on Instagram yesterday. Have you ever seen it go through, like this picture if you're going to become a millionaire? Mm-hmm. It's like, come on, like who's liking those photos?
Because then you like it, but then what happens from here? Do I just sit back now? I'm like sick.
It's a good luck. It's a good luck charm.
It's a good luck charm. Fortune cookies are good.
Fortune cookies.
I believe in them. We had some the other day at the restaurant. In fact, you got more excited than me when you saw it. So you can't even talk about liking pictures for millionaires because you stole my fortune cookie. You took the quote. You're like, I like this.
Yeah, it said don't share. When it said don't withhold your knowledge or something.
Yeah, don't withhold your knowledge.
That looks
took
good.
my fucking fortune cookie and posted it.
But why were we talking about Karen? Gone off grid.
About the China stuff.
Oh yeah, let's get back to that.
Before you were like, what's a Karen?
You were like,
the China stuff. It's but not even. Yeah, so as I said, it's not the Karens that are posting it on Facebook. It's like actual people that live in China that have like almost posted a final farewell video.
Are you okay?
Before. I don't know if I am. I'm not gonna lie to you.
You're very excited.
I'm just.
But yeah, go on. No, I completely understand. Like I was just asking if there was anything in particular you saw, but I think everyone's fully aware of the sort of situation that China is in.
It's scary, man.
But I do feel like that we said it in the last. I keep saying that, but we said it in the last podcast. How we feel like we're moving into that sort of state where we're not really getting a choice about what's happening. We're being told, and in some cases I understand for health and safety and stuff. But then when we spoke about the road blockages, it was like that was sort of. It feels like things are being done without any sort of say so.
Well, you made a very good point actually on road blockages. I don't know if you mentioned it in the last podcast or if it was with me personally, but it was about cars becoming automated. Like, you know how I said they're trying to get us off the roads. You almost touched into the self-driving cars.
Yeah.
Everything. I think it was you. Was it you?
I think I spoke
everything
about
being
this,
cordoned.
Like
maybe
off
Mykonos.
Off camera.
You mentioned it in Mykonos.
So, I've been told. Well, I've read that I think Google, Apple, and stuff in the future are going to be trying to move into, like, see how Uber is at the moment, where you order an Uber, comes pick you up, but they're going to try and move into that space. So then it's basically, it could be why there's so much restrictions on speed and stuff as well at the moment. So everyone's just moving along slowly at the same speed. So again, it goes back to those futuristic films. You know, when the futuristic films, or even like Futurama or whatever, which is a cartoon. But you know, when once they're in the traffic, everyone's moving, and it's just all moving by itself. So basically, I think they're moving into that market where you've got the cars that are don't have drivers, so self-driving cars, which then you actually just order, and then you jump in, and it takes you around. So there's going to be a big market for that in the future. And then once you think about it, you can actually see, that is actually where it's going to go, because that's where the money is going to be. So maybe less individual cars, but there's going to be a lot of like, you just go out, jump in a car, it's self-driven, but how far that might be in the future, we don't know. But
and that could almost be their argument against like combating pollution as well. Like, imagine if all cars were going like 20 miles per hour,
and
30 miles per hour,
as well.
All electric, all following the same route. And then, but that's very fucking scary to me, because you're automating too much.
Too far ahead.
Yeah, maybe, because it's like the feeling of not being able to drive a car is just as fun. Like, driving a car is fun.
Yeah.
And having that taken away, imagine you can't drive cars again.
Yeah, that'd be a strange.
It's a bit of a scary thought.
A strange place, but
to go in that route.
If you think about when we were young, when you're thinking about like, in like 90s and stuff like that, you used to think when someone said 2020, it was so futuristic.
Yeah.
And so you think that by like, if you're in school, when in primary school or something, and someone said, "What do you think the year 2020 is going to be?" You would have thought it was going to be like that, like so futuristic. But who knows what the next like 10, 20, 30 years
It's true. I've actually seen a lot of people, I know it might be a bit extreme, but people are saying that we are almost resembling another Nazi Germany, but on a very low level. And it's almost like the starting phase. Like when you consider how optimistic we were for 2020 or the future in general, just like technology booming, life getting better, all kinds of new technology and all this stuff. And you think about what's going on now with the virus. And again, we can even bring this back to Mykonos, the fucking plane journey.
Okay, yeah.
We had some dilemmas on the plane journey.
Maybe to wrap up the COVID side of things, I think you've been dying to say this one about COVID and how stupid some of it is.
Yeah.
So basically, it's the same story that we both want to sort of tell.
You can give your verdicts.
Yeah. So basically, obviously, we said on the last episode, I said it again, but how there's no consistency with people wearing masks. But then, so basically, I thought that on planes there was no eating, no drinking. So it was like strict. You have to have your mask on. And obviously it's like recirculating air inside an airplane, more or less, isn't it? So then we were on a plane for 3.5 hours or so on, fell asleep, woke up. I was like, wanted to get something and my mask wasn't on at that point. But when I stood up to get something out of the overhead luggage, someone ran up, or the stewardess or the steward ran up and tapped me on my shoulders, like, put your mask on, put your mask on. I was like, oh shit. Like, yeah, okay, cool. Like, calm down.
Yeah.
But then I put it on, and then later on, about half an hour later, I went to go to the toilet. I don't know if on the flight over there, if I had missed the cart where they sell food because I was asleep.
I think you did, because me and Jen got our food.
Yeah, because that's.
Then the minute the food comes, so I was ordering food and drink to purposely not wearing my mask, and because I had a packet of Pringles in my hand or a pot of Pringles, and I had my tea in my other hand, my mask was down.
See, I didn't.
No one says a thing.
See, I didn't know that because I was asleep. But then I went back to the back of the plane. So the plane's half empty because it's COVID. Airlines aren't busy. Then I went to the back of the plane. I'm waiting to go to the toilet, and the back 3 or 4 rows of the plane are empty.
Yeah.
And so then the stewardess had her feet up on the chairs, no mask, drinking a cup of coffee.
They were having a fucking party in the back of it, and I was watching it, just like envy.
I was like, what the fuck's going on? I was like, because I'd missed the food thing, so I didn't know that had happened. So then I went to the back. I was like, why were they shouting at me, or basically shouting? But now you're just sitting here, all laughing, joking with each other. I'm standing, listening to your jokes, and nothing's been said.
Yeah.
But then on the plane back, then when I stayed awake on the plane back, and then I realised then they came down with hot drinks, crisps and stuff like that. And then so we're all in the plane where you have to keep your mask on.
Yeah.
But then first off, they shouldn't be selling drinks and crisps and stuff like that. But obviously plane
they need to make money.
They want to make money. So COVID doesn't matter. So then you've got a plane full of people. Nearly everybody on the plane is getting either a drink or crisps or something, or a sandwich. And as long as if my girlfriend beside me doesn't eat, she has to keep her mask on.
Yeah.
But me, if I get something or a drink, I can take my mask off and it's absolutely fine.
So what if the whole plane's eating food?
Yeah, which they were.
Yeah.
Like, so that's where we were like, we have to speak about this on the podcast and just say, this just explains that it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, because I was in a bit of a daze. I was sleeping, well, not sleeping, but I was kind of like laying down, eyes closed, had my headphones in. And when you got up, you made a bit of a noise to like sort out your luggage on top in the cabin. Yeah. Did make a bit of noise. But then I saw the hostess like just sprint over to you as if you'd like ripped off your seatbelt and like stripped naked or something. And he was like, put it back on, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, yeah. It was just like, and then I got woken up after by the host, whether it was the hostess or the pilot. My man came on the mic like DJ Khaled. He just, I was sleeping and he was like, hello everybody, just a reminder. Like it was almost like a school disco, like
I had
DJ.
My earphones in, but I could hear him over what I was listening to.
Yeah.
He's like going mad.
You know, in the school disco, it's like, hope everyone's having a good time. He was like, hope everyone is enjoying their flight. However, there are a few of you today that do not have your mask on. And just so you know, we do know if you are not eating. And I was just like, who? I took my mic, like my earphones off. I was like, Jenny, what's this pussy saying?
I know,
like, tell him to shut up.
But then he was like, if we catch you without a mask, if you're not eating, we will alert the police and you will be escorted off the plane. Yeah. And it's like, but the person next to me is eating.
Yeah. So, but it's like, do you see the fear? Yeah. How they're just driving fear into you continuously. Yeah. And that's why I had a little pot of Pringles this big. I made that fucker last the whole flight. and barely got to wear my mask because aircon, as you mentioned, the whole air conditioning unit, it's circulating air, which means whether you're, and first of all, I haven't got my mask on me, it's in my bag, but
is it?
Maybe. I don't even care anymore. But it's like you put your mask on, it doesn't fully seal your, it's not a vacuum seal on your face. There's air. I'm not a scientist, I'm not an expert in any of this stuff in terms of the scientific side, but I know in general, if there's a gap, if there is a hole and an air vent, it will go inside.
Yeah.
And that is what's happening. No one has an airtight mask.
But you know what? I'm so sick of talking about it right now.
I think we just, angry.
Yeah, we told the plane. No, we told the plane bit, but it's like we spoke about it quite a bit last time. I don't think we can ever get away from talking about it on podcasts.
No, I think
there's always going to be an update. There's always something going on, but a lot of people was hitting us up from like America and stuff and just saying how it's exactly the same. So everyone relates to it, but it's also something that you don't. People are hearing it in the news. You don't want to listen to it like all the time. So we'll sort of.
I'll tell you what, talking of getting a bit angry or going a bit AWOL, how do you feel about Kanye West right now? I think that's something to mention. Kanye. You know,
Kanye is a very, very interesting person. He's going on a bit of a Twitter rant, a little bit like you, but he is obviously the king of Twitter rants. But I'm going to put it out there. My view on Kanye is that I think he's very, very misunderstood. Or not even misunderstood. I think there's a lot of people out there that understand him, but he is painted out to be crazy and off his rocker sort of thing. But I think the guy is very, very clever. He doesn't basically get his point across in the right way sometimes. But I find the situation right now is very, very interesting with he's sort of going against all the music industry in a whole, isn't he?
Yeah. And I kind of tweeted about it as well, but I think I agree with you. I think he's very misunderstood, but also I think he's just been portrayed in the wrong light. I
like him.
Yeah, same.
I think he's funny.
Same.
I think he is very good at what he does. He might overtalk it a little bit sometimes when he's like, I'm like Walt Disney.
I'm
like Jesus.
I think he called himself Moses the other day or something. Like,
that's like Messiah. Obviously a little, but that's what annoys me is that he is good at what he does, but then sometimes you're like, just rein it in a little bit because then you won't give these people an excuse to say these things about you.
An intelligent person knows how society operates right now. And if you say one thing wrong in this day and age, people will latch onto it. So in between giving all of the speech that he done recently, whether that was pissing on the Grammys or
that was mad,
or whether that was posting his fucking contract, he threw in the whatever it was, I'm the modern day Moses, I am Jesus, because he knows people are going to latch onto that, but it fits in within his overall conversation. So I call them sheep because they are fucking sheep. The people that believe everything they see, like people. When I actually tweeted, I was like, we must protect Kanye at all costs.
Oh yeah, that was it.
Because my man's a legend. Not just a legend, but I think he's so intelligent. He might actually be, I'm not even a Kanye fanboy. I used to like his music more back in the olden days with the older albums, but he's a modern day genius because he knows how society ticks. He knows what to make, he knows how to get people talking about him. And that's how a lot of these celebrities work.
A lot of people think it's just a stunt because there's a new album coming out. And obviously the presidency that he was saying he was going for, not sure where he's at with that. People were saying that's basically just trying to drum up business because he got a new album coming out.
Yeah.
Which I don't think that it is. I think he generally not going to run this time round, but next time, I think he might be generally thinking about it. But yeah, I think it's just specifically what you're talking about now. What do you think about that with the music industry? I think that he's completely right, and I think that there's a lot of artists out there that will agree with him, especially people trying to start off.
Yeah, I actually tweeted. People again, they've latched onto the little pissing on the Grammy, which I think is genius, by the way, and I might get into that in a minute as well. But they've latched onto the whole Jesus vibe, this, that. But what he is actually saying is incredibly accurate, and I think it has the potential to change. Make a historical change with what he's doing, because he's built himself up to a point now where his following is so strong, and you cannot say he's not smart or he's stupid, because look at Yeezy. The whole world to this day, even though it's not as maybe a lot of people don't care anymore, the whole world wants Yeezy clothes or Yeezy trainers. Yeah. The whole world went crazy over Yeezy trainers. They sell out everywhere. Some of them sell to this day for 20, 30 grand.
He knows how to. He knows what he's doing. Like, he knows how to market. Yeah, he knows how to grab the attention.
Yeah.
But do you think that's what he's doing now?
No.
Do you think he's just trying to grab attention?
No.
I think because he seems to be very persistent on, like what he's talking about the music industry. So he's basically saying how, even everyone's saying, well, you signed the contract, so it's your, like, you done it. But what he's basically saying is everyone sells out quite early. Any new artist, when they get started, obviously a lot of them don't have money.
Yeah.
They sign their life away with a contract.
Yeah.
To like an 80-20%, 80% in favor to the record company, and you get very, very little, and you never own your music.
Yeah.
So he's now trying to make a stand where he's like, I want everyone to be able to, and all new artists to be able to own their music and not be owned by the record companies.
Yeah.
Which is like a sort of, not a grey area, but it's something that it's an area that's sort of been delved into a little bit before with like Michael Jackson.
Yeah. Prince as well.
It's Prince as well. But yeah, it's he's treading on areas where are normally untouched.
Well, it cannot be a publicity stunt because he posted his fucking contract page by page on Twitter. Non-disclosure agreements come into play during these matters. So
he'll probably get a bit fucked for that.
But I think I might have mentioned this to you before. He may get fucked for it, but this is, I think, kind of a benefit to being wealthy. When it comes to legal fees and stuff, you're wealthy enough to just brush it off. Like it's like banks. When banks get caught in a scandal, HSBC just got caught in another scandal. I think it was 2014. There was a Chinese company that was money laundering 64 million or something. HSBC passed it through. Now we know, as history has proven itself time and time again, what happens when banks get caught out in a scam or manipulating the markets? They get a slap on the wrist. They get a fine. So if they make 7 billion, you make 7 billion profit, so you make more, you get a 10 million or 100 million pound fine, safe, whatever. Fuck off, I'll pay it, done. Back to business as usual. So when you're a celebrity and you're at a higher level, if you get taken to court or you have to pay 100 million, he's apparently a billionaire now. Who cares? It seems like he's at that point, and Kanye's very erratic. So he's erratic in a way that, a bit like me, my own tweets have got me in trouble legally as well, and I understand where he's coming from. There's times where he has said things. A lot of the arguments have been he's bipolar, he's unstable. But when you're bipolar, the other side that makes you unleash in that manner is a side that's very ridiculously real. That is a ridiculously real side that's bipolar. So whether it's the bipolar side is real or not, he is saying what is on his mind.
Well, that's what I think. Like when I talk about people say, "Oh, he's crazy." I'm like, but what he's saying now is what he generally thinks. So he's obviously like saying something that he fully believes. So if he is bipolar, the truth is coming out right now. So yeah, people think he's crazy, but he just says what's on his mind. And there's not enough people to do that. There's not enough people that say what's real. So when you do it, people ridicule you. Well, because what you're saying is a little bit different out of the normal narrative or context that everybody else says.
But it's genuinely an unspoken rule in many industries where this happened to Wiley as well, and this is where the cancel culture comes in. There's an unwritten rule where it is modern day slavery. There is a master above you.
That's what Kanye West is saying right now. He's saying
these are your masters. Wiley articulated it wrong. Wiley went straight in and said, the Jews, bruv, the Jews. So because he articulated it and said it wrong, racism.
But see how he got censored as well. He's been banished from Twitter, YouTube, Instagram. He's gone because he said something that was out of term to...
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
But he's not lying.
But there's no freedom of speech.
No, there isn't.
And now he's gone.
Yeah.
Now, like, you can't...
But that proves his point.
Yeah, exactly. He
literally said, they control us. This, that. But because he said it's the Jews, it can be twisted. The media narrative, when they interviewed him after, and obviously
he just said it in the wrong way. It came across the complete wrong way. But I think, again, the gist of what he was trying to say was that, like, he is not in control. And it's very similar to what Kanye West is saying right now. But I think what we spoke about before is with Kanye, he is so big now
Yeah.
that he might potentially be able to push this through.
This is exactly
he
it.
might be the first person that, especially because of Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, he could get censored. But
I don't. Do you know what?
He's too big now to be censored.
Too big, and this is the power, and his fan base is so low. Whereas Wiley has been controversial for such a long time.
And he's only known in the UK. People in America might not know who Wiley is.
But this is why cancel culture, I don't believe in it, and this is definitely a topic for the future as well. But when it comes to cancel culture, when Wiley first started saying all this stuff, even UK, the whole of UK, they were like, cancel him, cancel culture, shut him down. And then when he did get shut down,
like,
people started going, why are you doing this? We shouldn't be censoring people.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
you were pushing that agenda, and now you're seeing the effects of that agenda. You're giving the people more power. But with Kanye, if you cancel Kanye, there's going to be some fucking backlash.
There'll be uproar.
Because no matter how much you think he's crazy, you can't hide him.
You can't be like, oh, we censored one of the biggest people or
but he
well-known
proved that.
people on the planet.
I rate him so much because he's literally... He released the CEO, I think, of Universal's number or something like that. I don't know whose number it was, but he revealed a number, and then he got his account shut down. He messaged Jack directly through iMessage, the CEO of Twitter. He was just like, why is my account shut down? He was like, this is unusual. We will get this resolved. And he was like, it looks like it was a mistake. Kanye comes back up. He's like, I'm back. Dropped the guy's number again. No, he dropped his name in the contacts, but didn't drop the number. But like, I can relate to Kanye in a way because I tweet sometimes in a similar manner. When I get a bit angry, Kanye was just like, I'm back, like laughing emojis as if like nothing happened.
But that's how I think he's sometimes misunderstood, because on Twitter, and that's what we've said before as well, is that you can't always get your point across.
Yeah.
That's why, I mean, if Kanye sits down in front of a camera, does a podcast or does an interview, any interview I watch, I'm like, some people might call him crazy, but I take away the bits that he's saying, and I say, you know what, he's very, very clever.
Yeah.
And what he's saying is true. Take away some of the bits where he's going a bit overboard, but get the general gist of what he's saying, and you can get the point.
Mm-hmm.
But I think when he's just doing these outbursts on Twitter, then obviously that's where people can say, oh, you're crazy, or because it can be a text can come across the wrong way or be interpreted the wrong way.
But I think they're proving that is very real. Like, again, we covered this in the first podcast. If you are breaching the narrative, you're labeled a conspiracy theorist, you're censored, you're shut down. Even Trump has had his tweets censored because he's posted certain things. And Twitter, because it's technically a private company, they have the power to say, no, this breached our terms and conditions. Twitter can censor the president of the United States. What does that tell you about what we live in? Like, there are puppet masters in play. And Kanye is showing that, because at the end of the day, what does he gain from posting a contract, potentially breaching non-disclosure agreements, potentially jeopardizing or causing uproar? There's no real gain to it besides him proving a point. And I think that's what he's trying to show here. Like, you touched upon it just now, Michael Jackson and Prince. I'm a bit of a conspiracy person.
Just a tad. Just a little bit.
A little sprinkle of tinfoil. Just a little sprinkle of tinfoil. But
I think we need to have you here sitting with a tinfoil hat for one
podcast.
Episodes.
I'll have a tinfoil hat, because I think if we ever do a podcast on like 9/11 or just a full-blown conspiracy podcast, I'll just come dressed in foil.
Yeah,
it'll be the perfect attire for that podcast.
Again,
but then we don't
wear
want
something like that. Then it just, I said, anytime you say something that's out of the ordinary, people are like, oh look, and
that's very true.
Try and take the piss.
It almost turns it into a joke. That's a
yeah.
very good point.
Yeah,
and that's the thing. You can't joke about it.
Yeah,
that's a good point, to be fair. But I think it does touch into going back to what you said. Michael Jackson and Prince died of what? His doctor accidentally overdosed him.
Are you a fan of Michael Jackson? Did you like Michael Jackson?
I wasn't necessarily a massive fan. I do believe in the whole... I do believe there was an element of kiddie fiddling. Do you know what I mean? I do believe there was an element to it there. But then maybe at the same time, he was such a pure-hearted person. He didn't differentiate between adults, and he just saw humans as humans, which maybe is what the world fucking needs a touch of right now.
Yeah. I mean, it's a very, 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 like...
It's hard, isn't it?
It's one where...
You like him, don't you?
I think, I liked Michael Jackson when I was younger. I think as an artist, to this day, is probably one of the biggest. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think you talk about, if you go back not olden times, but a bit older, a bit older,
your age, yeah,
a bit older than us. It's like you got Elvis was massive, on another level of like that's not celebrity level. That's like next level.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson was up there. But I think what he done for the music industry, if you think about dancing, music, like singing, he's untouched.
Changed everything.
He's untouched with that. But then, yeah, like there could be a conspiracy theory against that. Like seemed like a very genuine person, and maybe just a little bit too innocent for his own good.
Yeah.
But you never know the ins and outs. But what I think you're about to say is there's obviously the fact that he owned all his own music. He bought the Beatles, masters
he owned
of
their
the
masters,
Beatles. And through that, he ended up owning like half of Sony or like something along that. But so there's a lot of theories out there that think that could have possibly been the cause of his death. But that's like going off down.
It's a similar path though, because if you look at his loyal
he would
following,
have been big enough to.
But this is
he
the
would
point.
have been big enough, but he
is big enough.
But a lot of his songs were basically saying stuff like what Kanye West is saying, but just not direct to the point.
But he done one talk, I remember, and he was just like, he had a piece of paper in his hand or something. And he was talking about Sony. He was like, they're trying to bring me down. Whatever he said, I don't remember. I need to watch that video. But that is why I think, because as his battle against Sony being exposed started escalating more and more and more, dead.
Yeah.
Overdose. Not very random death. Prince was battling a very similar cause.
He was in a bit of a bad way though.
He was in a bad way, but apparently. But then you look at like the whole.
He was only 50, and look at how he was.
He was, but then look at the documentary that came out. What was the documentary that came out straight after?
The documentaries don't put him in a good light.
No. So it's like they make it look like he was overworked, he was pushed to the limit, but. You have to realise.
By that, I thought you meant like with the other.
Well, no, I'm talking about the one that was more for his concerts, the final show.
Oh yeah, then he was. Yeah, I saw that. Like,
but you have to realise the people that are in charge of the record labels, they have invested stakes in everything else as well. So, if it was to be true that he was potentially killed to stop him exposing an entire industry, it's the same people involved in that are creating documentaries, and that's what I feel.
But with him, like, that can sound a bit far-fetched, but what we're saying is with Kanye is that because of his status, he's not on the Michael Jackson, Elvis status, but in the modern day, there's no one really much bigger than, obviously there's Jay-Z and who's better artist and stuff, which is a whole other topic. But when you talk about today, who's the biggest, who's the most well-known people in the world? Kim Kardashian.
100%.
And then you've got Kanye West. So Kanye West is the most well-known person, and the fact that he is now taking a stand and going against the establishment, to put it just in a nutshell, the fact that he's going against the establishment, and he could potentially be the first person that could get things to change, because you can't censor him. He's now too big. It's almost like it's like, oh shit, he's got too big now. We're fucked. Because he can now say what he wants, do what he wants. Because if you censor him on Twitter, he'll do it somewhere else. You can't shut him down now. And he's now got too big for. I can't remember how the phrase for it. Too big to fail isn't the phrase that I was that relates to this.
I know what you mean though. I get what you mean.
But he's too big now, so you can't pull. You can't censor him. So he can keep pushing for this. And what he's saying is true. So I rate him for the fact that he is saying what needs to be said. People keep thinking that he's crazy, but he's not. He's just basically, he's now trying to help everyone else in the industry.
If you look at most people that have created history, or most people that have done something revolutionary in this world, they're all looked at as crazy. They're all looked at as different or whatever. They're looked at as wacky until they end up being proven right, either a few months later.
Sometimes.
Yeah. So again, just not to tie in the Michael Jackson thing too much, but it's like Michael Jackson had that power to shut down an entire industry, and then he died.
Yeah.
So if Kanye was to, hopefully, touch wood, he doesn't die. If Kanye was to die, and it gets covered up, or it's just a random death, that's the end of that. That is the only way you can stop a force like that, because he's too powerful.
Yeah.
It's very sad.
Do you think he could ever become president?
Yeah.
Do you think that
in the world we live in right now, we know 2020 is a fucking
shit show.
Mazzolini. it's just an extravaganza. It's a Mazzolini. In the world we live in right now, Kanye could become president, and people say it will never happen. He's stupid, but look at everything else that's happened.
Did you ever think Donald Trump could get in? like
No.
let's say 6 years ago when Donald Trump, you'd see him on WWE.
Yeah.
Or he'd be, because
you
he
forget
was on
that
there.
stuff. You forget he was on WWE.
Yeah, or he was on. That's
I
mad.
completely forgot about that.
I know some of this stuff I didn't see till after because you don't really take much. You don't really think about who Trump was until he became president for us in the UK. Anyway, he was on he was in a lot of films as an extra, like Home Alone.
Yeah.
But then, what is he doing?
He was in Home Alone.
Well, what is he doing on WWE? Like he was anywhere where there was a camera.
Yeah.
So then you would have been like, this guy is not going to be president. Mm-hmm. Then what happened? And now he's loved by many Americans, and good chance that he could get in for the presidency this time round.
I believe he's getting the second run.
I think he
will.
I don't know too much about the American politics because we only get what we hear in the UK, which is again through
mainstream media,
channels and tabloids.
Yeah, but that's like I kind of understood a bit more about politics and the presidency. I know it sounds crazy, but I learned more about it through QAnon. But the difference is, I didn't fall into the trap. I used it to understand more because I like to read.
A lot of people might not know what QAnon is. So
QAnon, so it's QAnon is it's become a cult.
It's big now.
It's labelled a conspiracy theory, but we already know how we feel about conspiracy theories on this table.
Yeah.
I don't take it as a conspiracy theory. I take it as an ideology. But the problem is, the mainstream media labels it as a conspiracy theory. But then for me, when the mainstream media purposely attacks something, that's a threat. When they attack something or disregard it or misinterpret it or kind of lower the impacts of it and say it's a terrorist group, for example, which is what they've labelled it, it's almost like...
Oh, what the QAnon, they've labelled that
they label QAnon a terrorist group organisation that's caused people to kill each other. But from what I've gathered from QAnon, they seem to be non-violent.
It seems to be picking up.
Yeah, and it's massive. And Trump himself is refusing to deny it.
Yeah. So
very strange.
QAnon is basically... I'm probably going down this conspiracy theory road a bit too much again, but the general idea of QAnon is that Trump
is battling a satanic cabal, and a paedophile elite. But it's a very well known fact that a lot of Hollywood, again, one of the Pizzagate, all that stuff, they believe. But the problem is with QAnon, there's no limit. It's turned more into more than a belief into a cult. And that's why I looked into a lot of the things they're saying. And the more I've looked into it, it looks very realistic. But the problem is there's a fine line between they actually believe what they've read is 100% facts. And that's the same as anything in life. As much as I believe...
Rather than try and take it on board and
learn from it and just accept it maybe a possibility, they've gone from thinking Pizzagate is 100% like Tom Hanks they expect to be a paedophile. You go to the QAnon pages, that will hurt me, by the way, because I grew up obsessed with Toy Story.
Yeah.
So if Tom Hanks is a paedophile, that's my childhood fucked. And I hope that doesn't happen. But you literally see them tweeting like, Tom Hanks is in Guantanamo Bay. He's arrested. It's just a fake profile on Twitter.
It's like connecting too many dots and it just goes a bit...
That's where it gets into tinfoil cuckoo land.
Yeah, and I think that... I think it has. I think we can both agree that QAnon has gone a little bit into cuckoo land. It's like they take something and they run with it.
Yeah.
Whereas there might have been, there's this, there's that. We can take that on board. There might be something here, but then it's like, then they just go too far. Yeah. And then they're just labelled as crazy. We've even just said it.
Because they connect the dots, but then they take those dots and say it's a fact.
Yeah.
But there is no proof yet. So if Tom Hanks gets arrested, I'll say fair enough, you guys were right. If Trump ends up exposing that Hillary Clinton is allegedly a paedophile, I will agree with what they're saying.
Yeah.
But all of these crazy things, you can't just... It's the same as anything in life.
You can't just say it and make it up.
It's concrete evidence.
You need to see some facts.
Yeah.
Until there's any facts, and I mean, if there was any truth behind it, I'm sure there'd be some...
Yeah.
We would have seen something.
Because they keep saying the elite have been exposed, indictments are coming, this, that, but Trump is the president of the United States, so he has the power. And if you knew the Democrats were all paedophiles or Satanists, you would surely expose them or have them arrested by now.
Yeah.
Why would you leave them in power?
Yeah.
So it's like it's the same as everything in life. Critical thinking has to come into play.
Yeah.
And you have to take everything with a pinch of salt until there is concrete evidence.
That's what I mean. Everything is alleged. Like everything that we said is allegedly. Do you know what I mean? It's all like we're just regurgitating some of the things that we've seen online, and we're just going from one thing to another. But a lot of it is alleged, but nothing is proven. So it's like these people are taking it too far when there's no proven, nothing's proven about it. Do you know what I mean?
But then when you go back to Kanye West, he's proving exactly what he said.
Yeah. But he's coming with facts. He's like, this is my contract.
Yeah.
I only make 20%. They make 80%. I only make money from touring and merchandise. They make money off all my, like, why can't I own my own music?
Yeah.
So that's how he's coming with facts, like going against the establishment, which is a bit more real.
Yeah.
But everything else that we've spoken about, as I said, is a little bit more.
Yeah. But I think it's good to bring it up because a lot of people either know about it through the mainstream media or they generally hardcore believe it. And again, this is the whole purpose of this podcast. It's to give different opinions and potentially give people an option to look at it in a different light. That's the kind of message I want to deliver.
Yeah.
That you need to look at everything in a very different light. You should
I think we've given a lot of different lights in the last two podcasts.
True. But I like that. It's nice to get things off your chest because we kind of teach people for a living anyway. It's what we do as well. We show people how to trade, for example. We teach people how to do things how we do. And we also trade for a living ourselves. But we've amassed our following through our unique ideologies. And I think pushing that onto a podcast is why it's been quite beneficial.
Yeah, definitely. 100%. But it has been stepping away from tinfoil hats.
Are we going down that route, are we?
No, I'm saying stepping away from it. What else has happened this week? What else have you been up to? You're not really too much. You're not a football fan. If I only found out the other day that you used to be an Arsenal fan. If I knew that, I probably wouldn't have done this podcast with you.
Yeah, that's a bit unfortunate. So I used to be a junior gunner. Did I ever tell you that?
What is a junior gunner?
A junior gunner. I never got to. You get those little mascots.
Did you used to go? You were a mascot.
I never got to do it though.
Please tell me you're a mascot.
No, I never got to.
Please tell me there's footage of you being a mascot.
Wait, not like dressed as the fucking dinosaur.
No,
mascot used to be a dinosaur, but like the boys.
Yeah, the boys that come out.
That was what my membership entitled me to do.
Did you ever do it?
Membership? No, but I never done it. But I used to get goodie bags and stuff.
From Arsenal?
Yeah, goodie bags. I used to get like the little dinosaur and stuff. But I only went to one Arsenal match. No, I went to two. But I don't remember the other one. But I went to one. We beat Everton 7-0. But I think the reason I never got into sport as a kid is because my dad was never into sport.
Yeah, I suppose you get influenced by your brothers or dad or something.
Yeah, because like we went to the match. And again, I kind of got into it from my friends because I've always been a bit different growing up. I've always been obsessed with like gaming, for example, or just like cars or other things not involved. I've never been involved in that kind of pub, clubbing, like football. I've never been involved in British culture really.
I've just liked football to pubs.
It is football and pubs. It goes hand in hand. I've never been involved in that culture.
That's a bit stereotyping, but
I think it fits in quite nicely. I think it's a pretty good stereotype to say, but I'm saying like my dad is an example. My dad's obviously a bit fresh. He's a bit of a freshie because he comes from Cyprus.
Yeah.
So even though a lot of my cousins' dads like football, my dad never did. So I was kind of isolated away from the football crowd.
I was even not watching it every day.
Yeah. Like when we went to the Arsenal match at Everton, I don't think my dad even realised who Arsenal was and who Everton was. So like we're obviously surrounded by geezers. So obviously when, before a goal was potentially about to be scored, everyone's like, they would stand up. Obviously I would be like, I know what I'm looking at.
I would actually love to see you at a football match now.
It was mad. Like Arsenal scored, we beat Everton 7-0. I say we, not that I'm part of the team, but we.
Junior gunner out here.
Junior gunner, obviously certified, had the little membership card. But like when we'd go to score a goal, I would obviously like look around me and obviously all the geezers would be like, Aah! So I'd stand up, but my dad would be like, he didn't know who was about to score a goal, so I'd be like, get up, and he'd be like, like going crazy. But
for the purpose of people listening, obviously you're Arsenal, I'm Tottenham, complete opposites, hatred there.
There is a hatred. It's like, it's not as bad as West Ham and Millwall though, is it? Or is it similar?
I know little. I think it's sort of on the same kind of it's there or thereabouts. I think West Ham Millwall might be a little bit. It sort of goes off every time there's a meeting.
But what is the tension between, like, again, for someone who doesn't know really any, like, if you ask me now who played for Arsenal, I'd probably still say Thierry Henry or Dennis Bergkamp or something. I don't know.
But the only reason I brought it up today was because anyone, for those listening who are into football, Gareth Bale has come back to Tottenham.
He had the ponytail, right? Gareth Bale.
Yeah, he used to play for Real Madrid, but he wasn't really getting much love over there. Good player. He came from Tottenham, went to Real Madrid. Now he's come back. So that's obviously being a Tottenham fan is good news for us. So that's why I just thought I'd bring that up. And that was, I think, one of the biggest news in football this week. But what you were saying is the rivalry is more or less, it's like who's on your doorstep. So for Arsenal, Tottenham is North London teams.
So it's kind of like a postcode war.
You can put it down
like
to
a
that.
postcode war.
It's like Tottenham, Arsenal are both from North London, but then West Ham and Millwall aren't. So there's different rivalries at different places. Millwall, South East London, West Ham. So then, there's different rivalries all over the place. But maybe we'll get you down to a Tottenham game, transfer you over, make you a junior yid.
Not happening.
Bring you over to the.
I think due to my roots,
good side.
I cannot divert over to your side.
Yeah, but that was the sort of biggest thing in football this week. But I guess it's fallen on deaf ears here.
To put in simple terms, I've never been a fan of watching men in shorts and a t-shirt just running around a pitch.
See, what is wrong with you? What's wrong with your mind?
It's just, that's what it is. Like, people take football so seriously. I think that's what put me off as well. Like, watching how people, again, when the stereotype comes from pubs and stuff, that's because from what I saw growing up, you would see all the boys, like, literally, you'd see fights breaking out over football. You'd say, like, it's just mad. Like, you go to a bar or a pub, and when it comes to football matches, there's riots, there's fights, there's people screaming. Like, if they lose a match, they're like, we've lost. But it's like, you're not playing. But I've never understood, like, that connection to there's like a bunch of men on the field booting a ball into a net. I look at things. I look at things on that level, but it's like, I want to understand your side, because that's how
I think I think it's something that you just get into when you're younger. Like, obviously you follow a certain team. When you say it in your sense, it makes it sound a bit stupid, but it's not like that. when you have your team, no, you really just try to shit on football, you know.
I'm being ridiculously real.
But yeah, for me, it's with you. You were saying how you didn't have it as you're growing up, but funny enough, my dad supports Arsenal, and I'm a Tottenham fan.
That's what's awesome.
I don't know how that came about, but yeah, basically you just kind of warm to a team when you're younger. You have your favourite players, and you kind of get not obsessed with it, but when you're younger, where you're into computer games, you're into Call of Duty and stuff.
Yeah.
Like I'm not into. I haven't ever played. When I was really young, but I'm not really into computer games. So then when you're tweeting about Call of Duty and this and that, I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
And then I don't understand why you'd sit there and waste an hour running around shooting people.
Yeah.
Whereas you're saying, I don't understand why you'd sit there and waste an hour of people running around kicking the ball around.
It's very true. It's a very good point.
It's what you're into. But obviously you like your games.
Yeah.
I'm more into football, but you just get into it. And there is a little bit of a sort of cult thing, I suppose, the way you're stereotyping it a little bit. But it's just something that I can't really explain it. And I think that's why with football, that's one of the things that you can't explain. You just get so excited. Like, I remember when, like with Tottenham, when you go to things like Champions League and stuff like that, there's just an excitement you can't really explain. But that's one of the magical things about why football is so big, because you just love it and you can't really put your finger on exactly what it is.
Yeah. I feel, in a way, it is a bit sad that I don't think that
so.
connection.
Everyone has their different things.
But like growing up, obviously, I was very isolated from everyone, because I think the fact I was shit at football probably didn't help either.
Yeah, that probably was a big.
I used to play for under like 16s or 18s team. I got a few trophies. I was a goal hanger. Like,
you got a few trophies?
I got a few trophies. Don't worry.
What, for goal hanging?
For runner up, but I got my trophies. I think we won one like championship or match, but I was a goal hanger. Because you wouldn't catch me.
I want to see footage of you playing football.
There's childhood footage when you come to mine. You can see it.
I'm going to get that.
Please do not share it or distribute it.
That's going on Insta, Twitter.
Because like there'll be time I try and do like a rainbow
on this YouTube channel.
We'd literally be in the middle of a tournament, and because I don't even know football from FIFA, the ball would come and I'd try and do like a rainbow flick, and it would just like go through my legs and I'd like fall over and hit the floor. So I was never into football. I was a goal hanger. I'd sit by the goal, kick the ball to me. You're not catching me dead running for the ball. If it comes to my legs, I'm going to give it a shot. If not, I'm done.
I definitely want to see some footage of you playing football. I have a charity match that I've got coming up. It's actually next year. It's just coming to my mind. I have to arrange a team. I'm getting you on the team just for the jokes.
All right, well, I'm gonna have to go through like militant training. I'm
getting you on that pitch, even if it's for 5 minutes.
Can I be a striker then?
It's a bit like it's a bit like, you know, there was the football aid for the England football aid like 2 weeks ago. Even if you just come on,
I would be Chunks. I'd just miss a penalty.
Even if there's a penalty, I'm going to bring you on just to take it. But I think, I'm definitely going to get you on. Even if it's for 5 minutes, I got to have you kitted out, football socks, shorts.
No problem.
Top.
No problem.
And get you on.
But do you know what? It's weird because when I went to the Euros, was it 2016?
You went to the Euros?
2016, France.
Must be nice.
It was in France. It was crazy. It was because Turkey, obviously, because Turkish Cypriot. When I watched Turkey play,
where was the 2006?
Was it 2016? I don't know.
When did you go? Was it recently? Was it 10 years ago? Was it 4 years ago?
I don't remember.
That might help me tell you.
It was in France.
Yeah, but was it 4 years ago? Was it 10 years ago?
2016, I think, or 2015 maybe.
So like 4 years ago.
4 or 5 years ago, if I remember.
So it would have been 2015, 2016.
But I'm saying I don't know where it was. I remember it was in France.
All right. But it was.
I don't know if you know. Yeah,
I can't remember off the top.
Does it change the Euros? Does it go to like different? Yes, it's like the World Cup, innit? It changes. Yeah.
So
it was in France, and I went there with my cousin.
It might have been. I think it went back to France.
Yeah,
shows my age. When I was in primary school, I went to a school trip. And it was Euro 1998, I think. And
Fuck
it was
me!
in France.
3 years after I was born.
And then it went back to. It must have been France. But you went to the Euros?
Yeah, Euro 2016, I think it was now. Now that you've just mentioned it, 1998, that was 3 years after I was born. That's mad.
Yeah, that shows the gap between us.
But it was in France, and that was the first time I ever felt a real connection to football.
Yeah.
A real connection.
But then, see what I mean? You get caught up in the moment.
Because it was more of a country. But again, even when it comes
you get
to
even more into it. You get more passionate.
Yeah, because I don't like politics. I don't like that stuff. But for some reason,
there's no politics.
No, but
why bring politics into it?
But it's like I don't know. Like I don't like being obsessed with things like all of that.
But you're obsessed with Call of Duty.
Not obsessed with it, but I fucking love it.
Okay, so all right, that's a good thing that you just said. So when you went to Euro 2016, whenever it was, you got into it.
Yeah.
So you were watching Turkey.
Turkey.
What did you go to? 1 or 2 games?
2 games, I think, or 1 game.
So how much that feeling when you're at the game and Turkey were winning or losing or scored a goal, you were into it?
It was because they were chanting in Turkish. They were like hugging each other, and it was like it reminded me of being at a family party. Because I know
your family parties are like,
yeah, that is pretty mad. Not like men hugging each other. It's not that kind of party, but it's like it felt like more homely. It felt like something I could relate to. But obviously, with all my cousins,
say like when there was a goal, like it was coming to a goal or they score, did you have that?
We were going fucking crazy.
You couldn't help
yourself. We were going crazy because it was a celebration. But when it comes
to
overwhelming
feeling, that's what I mean. You can't put your finger on it.
Yeah, I couldn't.
Well, there you
that's
go.
a very good point. Actually, I couldn't relate to it because when it comes to Arsenal, a lot of my cousins are from North London. You've got like Edmonton, Enfield, Haringey, Cheshunt, all that stuff. Cockfosters, all them areas. But Cockfosters is just funny to me. That's my inner 5-year-old. I like Cockfosters. Every time I see it on the sat nav, I'm like, cock. I'm like, stupid. Why would you call an area Cockfosters? But because they were from them areas and I was more from South, I couldn't feel that connection. Whereas people with me, it was like Chelsea. Bare Chelsea fans when I was growing up. But Chelsea for me is always, and I had the stereotype of like pubs, riots. That's what Chelsea is for me.
In your mind.
In my mind, it was Chelsea. But when it comes to the country, there was a connection.
Yeah.
But again, I didn't really have a clue who was playing. I Googled before we went who the main striker was.
I think when it comes to Euros and the World Cup, you don't need to. I am Irish, but I follow Republic of Ireland, but I also follow England. Obviously, I know a bit, but you follow like with Ireland, not as good as other teams. So sometimes I'm like, who the hell is this?
Yeah.
But it's that passion that you have for where you're from. So then you just follow it. You don't have to know who people are.
Yeah.
But I'm very glad that you brought that up because you were saying you don't understand.
Yeah.
But now
you've actually it's almost made me
this
realise.
has been like a therapy session. And now maybe you might.
So is that how you feel when you watch like Tottenham play?
Basically, yeah. Like the thing is, I can sometimes miss a game, and then you just see the score, and you'll be like, oh, for fuck's sake, they lost, and then you watch the highlights. But if you're watching the game from start to finish, you get very into it, and you just. It's because it's something that you've been following for so long, so you want it to win or lose and stuff like that.
I've just never understood people that are obsessed with it, but I guess we all have our own obsessions. Like when it comes to World Cup or the Euros, I'm more inclined to watch.
But sorry, I was going to say, but I wouldn't say obsessed. Like I like football. There's a lot of people that like it a lot more than me. I like it, but I don't. I'm not like regiment that I don't go to every game. People call me an armchair fan. Because I just don't have time to go and watch it, and I'll miss a lot of games that are even on the TV. Well, if it's on the TV, I'll try and watch it. But like you don't have to be obsessed. You can follow it, and like it. But obviously, there's different grades. Some people are obsessed. But I mean, I think football it's the biggest game of the world. And I think that for that reason why is that when you're at the Euros, that feeling that you get, you can't really replicate and you can't really explain.
But that's the thing I think it is for me. It's like if you would say now, let's go to a match, I'll come with you 100%. Because I enjoy the atmosphere. Yeah. I like getting my hot dog. I like getting my chicken nuggets. I like getting my little Pepsi and sitting there and having a great match.
You think about McDonald's or?
Yeah. Like I generally like when you go to a football match, I like the fried food. I like the atmosphere outside the stadium. You have little stalls there, little stands. You've got like autograph shit. I like the atmosphere. It's like when I went to Toronto, I was courtside at the NBA game.
Must be nice.
I used to. It was pretty nice. It was pretty good. But I remember I was more obsessed with basketball.
That I would really like to do. I've got into basketball a little bit more in the later years, but I've been to a basketball game. I wasn't courtside, must be nice, but I was like a few rows back. But that is. The atmosphere there is completely different than football, isn't it?
Yeah, it's wild. You got like the cheerleaders coming on.
They stop it like every like couple of minutes. There's a timeout. Cheerleaders come on.
Go and get another drink.
Like
come back.
T-shirts out. Yeah, there's alcohol. Whereas in England with football, you don't get alcohol in the stands anymore.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's been that long since you've been to a game.
Come into play?
I think a long time ago now.
I think 2007 was when the Everton match was for me. But obviously the Euros was 2016. But
yeah, you can't get alcohol.
Like the streets in Paris. Riots. Yeah, it was a madness. Like whoever we were playing that day, I don't remember. It might have been Croatia, it might have been Spain. It was one of those two, I think. The streets were like
madness.
You see someone else, and it's literally like Bloods versus Crips.
Yeah.
You see someone in a Turkey kit, you're like my brother. You're hugging them. You're chugging beer together. You see them in the opposing kit, and everyone's just watching them. Like one wrong move, one wrong look, they're coming for you. And there's like fires because we won the match that day. I don't know. I think it was 1-0 to Croatia, if I remember. If it was Croatia, but there was fucking bonfires going on. It was wild. But obviously with NBA, for example, you're celebrating in the stadium.
You were at your courtside seats. Sorry, what were you
courtside seats? No, I was just saying it was a good atmosphere. But I used to like NBA. I've always liked everything sport wise on a very surface level. So like NBA, I used to like the 76ers because of Allen Iverson. Because he was short. He was my height. But he was still throwing up alley-oops.
Yeah.
So he became like my role model. I was like, if he's my height... Because when I was growing up, I was like, bruv... I used to go to my mum and be like, bruv, I don't think I'm going to grow up. And it's yours or dad's fault. One of you gave me this genetic and you're going to have to pay for it. It's not fair.
You still haven't grown up.
When I was growing up, I still haven't grown up. Height-wise and maturity, I haven't grown up.
When was this last week?
No, cancel the podcast. I need another drink. Right, that really hurt.
But yeah.
Yeah, I related to Allen Iverson because he was short. He had his little sleeve. It was just tattoos, braids. Because I had cornrows in it when I was growing up. Do you remember? Did you see the picture?
No, I don't remember.
You haven't seen the picture of me with braids?
I think
I had the full cornrows going on because of Allen Iverson.
Because of him?
I was just a G growing up, basically. Just ran primary school with my cornrows. So I liked that culture.
There's so much stuff that I'm going to have to get and expose of you. I need to see you playing football.
You're not coming to my house ever again. That's the cornrows.
The NBA, I got really into the NBA. Like I'm not really into it, but do you know what really made? I know this sounds a bit shit, but do you know what really made me want to started watching it again? Did you watch the Michael Jordan thing on Netflix? You didn't watch that?
I haven't seen it yet. I still need to watch it.
The Last Dance.
No.
Yeah, that's a must watch. Like obviously, because you're in England, you can't really watch basketball that much. And I was watching that, and it got me quite into it. And I've been watching a few games, especially like, what's his name? His Instagram is King James. What's his name?
LeBron James.
Yeah, LeBron James. But yeah, so you watch that and Steph Curry and stuff like that. But yeah, you have to watch the Last Dance on Netflix. It's like you'll start watching it and you'll binge the whole thing.
Yeah, I like that.
It's a sick little series. Where it's all about. I think it's not just about basketball. It's about Michael Jordan and the drive and stuff that you need to have. So it's kind of a motivational thing.
Yeah.
So it's something that if listeners haven't watched it, I recommend watching that as well.
I'd like to see that because I think it was it Scottie Pippen?
Scottie
Pippen.
Scottie Pippen, yeah.
I said Scottie Pippen. Scottie Pippen. It was like they were kind of like partners in crime at one point.
Yeah, him and there was one more guy. What's his name? He was a little bit different than everybody else. He used to wear makeup and stuff. He used to
Magic Johnson or something.
He used to go on
Magic Johnson's son's the one.
He used to go on benders. So they're like Michael. He was that good that Michael Jordan would have to go and find him in Vegas and bring him back to play the game.
Sounds like me.
Yeah, I can't remember his name, but people know who I'm talking about. But what were you saying?
No, I was just saying like because that's how I got into basketball through my uncle. My uncle was obsessed with Michael Jordan. Like
so that's what I mean. So then that's why you got into basketball.
There's almost like a gateway, isn't there, to getting into certain things.
So for me, it was my family. My dad was into football. So that's kind of my gateway. And then you just get into it and you get obsessed with it. I used to play it non-stop as much as I could. But yeah.
That's interesting. You've almost made me discover a side
why
of football.
People like it.
Why people like things. Because I've always been... Because that's how I am. I'm always like... I try to detach from like what is supposedly reality as much as possible. Like when I watch football,
because I think like the norm is. People liking football because it's the biggest game in the world. I think it's like normally anyone you speak to is like, oh, what team do you support?
Yeah,
and then when they're like, oh, I don't watch football, you're like, huh? But then like that's what I mean. But it's been good that we've had that conversation out in the open and we've you didn't understand what the why people liked it.
Yeah,
but now you almost do.
Because growing up, I became more and more introverted because I started realising I was so different to a lot of people. Like when they would say like, let's go to the pub or watch the football, or are you coming here? Let's go goals. I'd go goals every now and then, but I was like, I don't like it.
Yeah.
So then I would end up just staying inside more and more and more. So whilst my friends thought I was being distant or antisocial, it's because I couldn't understand what the connection was. So then that's how I got more into games and stuff as well, because I couldn't understand the bond. But now... You've almost like, I understand them now.
I've explained it to you, broke it down. But yeah, that's the beauty of everything. That, like what we said on the podcast, is everyone's different, and different opinions, different of what they like, what they don't like. That's what makes it go around, isn't it?
But I think it's going to be good for a lot of people that are in my shoes, that maybe don't understand football too much.
Yeah.
Or maybe of growing up introverted, for example, because they couldn't relate to that side. I think it's a big wake-up call for me, actually, to be fair. I'm just a bit like, actually, it makes sense now.
Yeah.
Because we're all obsessed with different little things.
On the flip side of that is like, for me, I think when I was younger, I wasn't really into playing games. I was very lucky when I was younger that my family bought me like a PlayStation 2 when it first came out and stuff like that. So like I used to play it a bit, but I don't know. It was because I was so into football and stuff. I'd always be outside playing, but I never really got in, especially in the later, because then it started going to online gaming. Yeah, like when PS3 and 4 and 5 or whatever it is now. So then I never really got into that side of things, but people love that. But I never caught the bug. But I think with football, that's what it is you catch the bug. Yeah, and you catch the bug of whatever you're into.
Because that's like me from like up to year 7 before I started secondary school. It was just like I had an Xbox, I had a PlayStation 1, had PlayStation 2, had PSPs, all that stuff. But
must be nice.
It wasn't like an obsession.
Yeah.
I would enjoy it if it was on holiday. I'd take it here and there. But playing outside was my thing. Football, riding my bike, scooter, whatever it was. But then when I got into secondary school and online gaming came out, because I was already quite involved in gaming, the online gaming just took me over. And then after that, it was done. But I'm actually very grateful to have had a childhood where I got to play out. I got to go out and enjoy. There was no social media when we were growing up. Yeah. Besides MSN or even BBM was secondary school, but MSN was our messenger.
Well, we spoke about this on this is a very interesting topic. We spoke about this when we were away. How I think you are the last generation. I thought I was, but after speaking to you, I know you're a few years younger. But the sort of the last generation of not having social media when you're young. And for me, it was like, I can't remember how old I was when we first got a computer and the internet.
Dial-up.
Yeah, and you had a dial-up and it made the weird sound and stuff. And I think I must have been at like 12, 13 or something like that. But I saw both sides of the spectrum. I saw before that, I remember when like my dad had a mobile phone that was like a brick, like the brick one.
The like drug dealer Scarface phones. Yeah.
It's like the proper
trapper phones.
But even before that, you had to carry a box round of it.
Yeah.
But then it moved on
like
to
a
that.
fucking spy.
Yeah. But it was like that was then, and pages and stuff like that, and that was the first introduction of technology. So, but we saw before that even came around when I was a bit younger, we had a life where there was 4 channels in England. There was 4 channels on TV. But it was like you got home from school.
Yeah.
At a certain age, you changed and you went outside and you played outside until the street lights came on. And it was right, you got to come in, have your dinner, do your homework or whatever. And I used to be out, like you couldn't get me indoors. No. I was out, like I was playing football 24/7 every minute of the day. But then that's what kind of I don't like with today's society is they haven't got that.
They haven't experienced it. Like in my opinion, that was a childhood. Now they're on Instagram at school.
Yeah.
Everything they do at school is for Instagram. Whereas we didn't have, there was nowhere to post it to. No. You dash a fucking piece of paper across the classroom.
Like an paper airplane.
Airplane. You'd like, your communication methods in school, you wouldn't be able to send them a text.
No.
A dash piece of paper, a note, an aeroplane. You throw a pencil at someone's head. Now in school, it's being filmed.
Yeah,
it's for Instagram.
Everything.
It's to get onto a meme page.
Every move you make, and I don't know what it's like, but I'm sure that doesn't help like young kids with their self-esteem or their confidence or bullying. I'm sure that's made it 100 times worse. And depression has got much worse with younger people because of things like that. But yeah, it's kind of, it's like everything. It's like humanity took a step back in that sense. We move forward with technology and we're advancing, but then we're losing sight of just
humanity and reality is going. Like back in my day, if there was a fight in school and someone's getting punched up, you're getting punched up. That's normally the end of it. Yeah. Someone might film it on their fucking Nokia, but it might spread between 2 or 3 people.
For me, it wasn't even that. There was a fight.
Yeah,
it was over, and you'd have to deal with the embarrassment that your friends would remember the next day. But now it'd be like
I'm just bait.
You're viral.
Yeah,
you're now a meme. You're now this or you're that.
Like back in the day, the phones were so bad anyway with the cameras. If someone there was people getting like stripped naked or punched up, they would catch it on a phone like a Nokia.
Stripped naked.
Bad things happening. It was just mad. Not like sexual assault, but like in a fight, they'd be like, get naked. But then things happened in schools, like in secondary schools. It never happened to me, thank God. But it happens to people, innit? But anything you do in school now, you could potentially end up on a meme page which has millions of followers.
Yeah.
So there's not just the embarrassment of your school, there's the embarrassment of the entire world seeing what is happening to you on a daily basis. And there's a constant, there's pressure.
Pressure. Is it
because we know.
And anxiety, kids have that anxiety now.
Especially at a young age, you're still growing. You haven't built up a tolerance yet.
You don't even know who you are yet.
Like with us, as a good example of the industry we're in, we deal with that on a daily basis, but we've kind of gone through the phases of life to be mature and kind of become accustomed to it and handle it.
Yeah.
But when you're young and you're in school, you're emotional, you're hormonal.
It's like.
Imagine getting into a fight or you kiss a girl and someone videos it and puts it on. In your head, you're thinking, what the fuck? The whole world knows about this. Whereas before, anything you'd done, it was within your boundaries.
Yeah.
You can't do anything now.
I don't like it. I remember when I first got a mobile phone, I was in secondary school, and that was when they first came out. But then a few years later, kids were getting them younger and younger, and then it's at that stage where it's like, well, look, if you have a child, you don't want to give them too much too soon, but then everybody else has them.
Yeah.
So then if your child doesn't have one, then they're the odd one out. But then it's like everyone has a smartphone now, and as you said, everything is videoed, everything is it's like going back. I keep saying this, but what you said in the last episode is about Black Mirrors. Remember that episode where where something's happening to someone,
yeah,
everyone's running around with like videoing it. That is literally what the world is like now. So when you see something happening in the world, it's good sometimes that because when certain things happen, it gets shared.
Yeah.
But it's more that's a minority. More so, it's just that it's being filmed for the wrong reasons, or people are like World Star. It's like, oh shit, there's a fight, like World Star, and it's just to share it, and it's like hyping up. They're not. If there's two people having an argument or a fight, they're laughing at you, not with you.
It becomes
everybody in a circle. So the first thing, something happens now, bang, people whip out the phone. That's humanity going, rather than help somebody. So that's humanity going, taking a step back. But again, that's something that we can delve deep into in another podcast as well. Yeah,
definitely. Because when you think back to how we were in school, not to touch into it too much more, but when we were in school, I don't know what age I was when I first got my phone, but before then, the communication was either my parents picked me up or there was no instant messaging.
No, but if you have to call somebody. So for me, it was like on a Saturday, if I was meeting a friend, I'd ring them. I was like, right, I'm leaving my house now. I'm going to be there. I should be there at this time. Then you got on a bus or a train, and that person would have to stand there and wait for you.
It would wait for you.
Yeah.
Like, do you remember when, I don't know if you had the same thing, but like besides dial-up, where you couldn't use, we had a Packard Bell when it first came out, and I was like just using the internet, but obviously the minute the phone would ring, gone. Or you couldn't use it when the phone was ringing because the dial-up, you had to use the telephone. But when home phones were first a thing, you had 1 hour free. Then after 1 hour, it would be paid for. So when I used to play Call of Duty with my cousins, I would call him up home phone to home phone, talk for an hour, put the phone down at 59 minutes, then call him again, and it'll be free again and again and again. But obviously now you just think, imagine having to do that continuously. Now it's
those
like
little things that
you want to send a meme, you want to send a picture, straight away.
Yeah, those little things that we had that I suppose we sort of miss because it's different now.
I miss it so much actually.
But the same will probably happen again. Is like the youth at the moment will probably have something that in another 10, 20 years they'll be like, oh, remember we had this, but now they have,
and that's terrifying.
It's progression, isn't it?
If this is what they've got now, what's
going to happen in 20, 30 years?
Because now the problem is there's a reliance and a dependency on instant communication. Everything is instant.
It's going back to what we said at the start, where it's that the psychology where they've tapped into the human psychology. So you need that instant gratification, but you need that instant who's liked me, what's the latest news, what are my friends doing, what's somebody else doing, what's this or that person posted.
But also for parents with kids, a good example is my sister. She's in Dubai right now, and I watch my parents panic. Like, for example, my dad got her a 4G global data package where she can use her 4G anywhere. She's a bit stupid. My sister, she's a bit slow compared to me. She's very slow, my sister. So she got a text from EE saying, you have a Euro data package available. Activate this now. I was like, you're in Dubai. You're not included. She activated the package. Her 4G went down for 24 hours. And I watched how my mum and my dad shit themselves. Because now they have to wait for her to get Wi-Fi to communicate.
Yeah.
But back in, like, when I was her age or when we were younger, that was normal. That was the normality.
Exactly, yeah.
Now, because they cannot communicate with her every second, or you do not see a double tick on WhatsApp, there's panic. Worried, They're like, but we need that instant communication.
It's like you need that. You need everything is instant. It's like even if you go out on a night out or something. Yeah. Like if your missus, whoever it is, if they can't get a hold of you, or say your battery dies, or something happens, there's worry. But it's like, or it could even be during the day. Like we could be doing a podcast here now, and my phone might be off, and someone might be trying to get, like, a perfect example. Someone could be trying to get a hold of me right now, and then it's like, why is his phone off? And then we could try and call me again, and a couple of hours later, they'll be like, all right, I've tried him twice now, or 3-4 times now. He's not answering. Something must be up, and that even happened to me yesterday. I was trying to get a hold of somebody, and I messaged him. I tried to ring him. I said, well, that's a bit strange, but that just shows that I was like trying to get a hold of someone. I was like, it's strange not to be able to get a hold of somebody. And so I automatically thought, oh, something must be up. Like, is everything okay? And then today I was like, is everything all right? Yeah. And they were like, yeah, everything's right. Yeah. But it's like, it's that instant. We don't even realize it, but it's ourselves as well as everybody else. But yeah,
that's a very scary thought.
Yeah, but
very scary thought.
It's like you can always say it's just the way it is now. It's just like you've got conditioned to it so much. How do you condition yourself to not be like that? What do you do? Like not use technology, not use WhatsApp, not respond to people straight away.
With more frequency, how can you go back? Because it's like an addiction. There's a dependency and a reliance on instant communication. So it's like, just as you said, if you continuously message, and let's just say you're talking to someone every single day, and you know the minute you press send, they're going to get that message. Yeah. And you know the minute they see that message, it's coming back.
But just going back to that, when we were talking about, we will talk about it more in the next podcast, but just that first 15 minutes of The Social Dilemma on Netflix, when someone says it to you, what they're doing, you're like, those cheeky fuckers. So basically, what they were doing, what they've done was, so there was the first 15 minutes in, they show this guy in a classroom with a girl. So then like he likes the girl, whatever. So then there's the people talking in the background. So she tags him. So the reason that they're doing a tagging thing on Facebook, the reason that they set up tagging was that when you get tagged in a photo, human psychology, you are going to check that notification.
Because what could it be?
Yeah,
it could be
it's
anything.
Like you have been tagged in a photo. So you're thinking, what the fuck? I need to see the photo. So human psychology, they've tapped into that. And that's one of Facebook's biggest things.
This is terrifying, man.
But that's one of Facebook's biggest things that they've done is they understood that part of the psychology. So then this is just what you were saying about the instant texting. So this is what I was only 15 minutes in. I can't wait to finish it. But I was like, I looked at my missus last night. I was like, those fuckers. So basically, you get a message saying, okay, you've been tagged. So then he got tagged. So he written a message saying, at least one of us looks good. I'm going to say the exact thing when people watch it, they understand. So he said, at least one of us looks good in this photo. So then she got the photo. So then the people in the third thing were saying, all right, he sent a message. How can we keep him on our app? How can we keep him intrigued? I know, we'll show him that she's writing a message. So then it shows him, it pops up on his phone. So where he should just be like, respond, put his phone down, get on with your day. It shows you that this person is now typing. So it keeps you on your phone because it says this person is now typing. So you're waiting for them to write back. So then when they write back, you then write back, and then the same thing is happening. Even so, it's keeping you. It's how long they can keep you on that product or that service for.
When someone writes a message, then they stop typing on WhatsApp. I'm like, wait a fucking minute. What were you about to say?
Yeah.
And then they write again, and then you're like, you start getting tense.
Yeah.
That is such. I never even thought of that.
But that's what I mean. I'm only 15 minutes into that program. But then when they've explained it sometimes things are just there in front of you, but until someone says it in simple form, you're like, fucking hell, how did I not pick up on that?
Yeah.
But then it's like, I haven't been able to use social media properly since that. I'm like, I don't want to look at anything for too long because they're watching me and stuff like that. But I think we'll finish that one off and we'll maybe pick up on that in the next podcast.
It's definitely good for a next podcast, whether it's the next one or one after.
Yeah.
We can I think of those topics in particular, we need to almost dedicate an episode to it and just obliterate it piece by piece.
Yeah, there's a lot of things I think we've said to people like, drop a comment, tell us what you want us to have a podcast on. Last one was breaking the ice. We easing ourselves in, spoke about quite a few things. Today we spoke about quite a few things.
Yeah.
But I think, there will be podcasts in the future where we'll be like, it's about this.
Yeah.
And then we can go really deep into those certain specific topics.
Definitely.
But saying that, we just finished our bottle of Chateauneuf de Pape.
The pop.
Another good conversation.
Another good conversation.
I've actually really enjoyed today's conversation. I've got you to understand why football is so great. There's been a few different things I really enjoyed today.
Yeah, same. This is why I don't like scripting things too much.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you want to go in on just one topic.
We spoke about things that we had no idea we were going to talk about.
Yeah.
We just have a general idea. We wanted to talk about what's happened in the last week. And here we are. Now you love football and you're going to come to a Tottenham game.
I'll happily come.
I'm going to get you a t-shirt with a Tory 1 on the back.
I love that.
I can't
I
wait.
shave my hair and all sorts.
And I'm coming to your house. I'm coming to your house to get these photos of you with cornrows.
First of all, that's not happening.
I'm getting photos of you playing football. So guys, watch out for Twitter and Instagram. This shit is getting exposed.
Fuck that.
So should we wrap it up here?
Let's wrap it up here. It's
Cheers.
been an excellent. Let me just push this back. Wedgie up.
But just for
Cheers.
Cheers.